Hi! So today I'm going to show you how to do a single crochet alphabet. I have been working on this tapestry here and it is my birth control information sheet word for word. And this is the alphabet I came up with. I am using single crochet for this and a lot of people have asked for that alphabet. I have done an alphabet video in the past and it was with double crochet and a lot of people said I had a bad attitude in that video. Sorry, I was going through a lot at the time. It's 2 years later. And I'm a more well-adjusted adult, so sorry for having a bad attitude. I'm gonna try to have a better attitude for this. I am using 100% wool in this blanket, but I don't want to use my precious wool on a little sample piece, so I am using acrylic. You can use whatever yarn you want and whatever suggested crochet hook size that you want. I would recommend going down half a size or a full size on your suggested yarn. For the yarn I have, the suggested is 5.5 millimeters, but I feel like that's a bit loose, so I'm going with a 5 millimeter. Do whatever you like. It's your world. I'm going to crochet a little tapestry that says Live, Laugh, Crochet, and I'm going to put the alphabet up right now. So if you'd like the alphabet, here is the alpha of my alphabet. You're welcome to screenshot and use that wherever. I also have a purchasable version on my website. You don't need to purchase it, you can just screenshot and use it. I just have that available in case you want to support me and help me do weird projects like crocheting my entire birth control information sheet. Anyways, I'm going to show you how I do an alpha online. I'd recommend graphing everything before you do it. You can either go old-fashioned, get some graph paper and start coloring them in, or use Stitch Fiddle. It's a great resource, it's free, it's online, and you can just fill out little boxes and create designs you'd like. This is essentially alpha crochet. I'm going to show you how to make things with letters. This is the alphabet I came up with that I find easiest to use and I think looks the smoothest, but of course there's so many other alphabets out there. I've had so many requests to teach the one that I do, so this is Alexandria's Alphabet Single Crochet Edition. I have the alphabet here to help me and I have it split screen. I also added like a period, exclamation point, question mark. So I want to do Live, Laugh, Crochet. I'm just going to zoom into my graph to help me kind of plan this. And I'm going to zoom into the L. So every letter is 5 rows tall and most of the letters are 3 single crochets wide, but some of them like the N, M, W are 5 single crochets wide and the J is 4, but otherwise they're all 3 single crochets wide. So I'm going to do Live. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it's 3 wide. I'm just copying what I have on the graph. Oh, I just undid that. Then I'm going to skip a column and I'm going to put the I here, and then skip another column. I'm going to put the V next to that, then skip another column and then put the E. And there is Live. Next we're going to do Laugh. So I'm going to line it up with the L here. I'm just copying what's over here. Live, Laugh. And then next crochet. So I'm going to copy the C. That is 5 rows high. Live, Laugh, Crochet. There we go. This is the template I will be copying. I just wanted to show you how I take each letter and move it here. I like to add 1 row or 1 single crochet between each letter and then 1 row between each word. I find that looks the nicest, but obviously you can do whatever you would like. I just moved it into another document to help me out so I'm able to write all over it. Obviously the widest word is crochet. I like to add 2 single crochets before and after each word. Now I'm going to count across how much that is. So 31 across, 31 single crochets wide. I don't really need to know how many rows I'm doing because I'm working row by row and I personally don't care, but you're welcome to count that out if that's easier. I like to start up here and work my way down, and I like to start with this first row. So now I have my hook and my yarn. I'm going to do a slip knot, insert my hook, and then I'm going to chain 31 stitches plus 1, so 32 stitches. So there is my row of 32 stitches, and I said 32 because we're going to skip that first chain. We're going to insert our hook into that second chain, and we're going to start single crocheting down that chain, and that will leave us with 31 single crochets. So I finished the first row, and I'm going to zoom in and start crossing things off to kind of help you. I'm just going to ignore this because this is obviously just white single crochets. So I just finished this white row, which is that first row up here. I'm just going to cross it out to make it easier. Now for the second row, I flip this around, I chain 1 at the start of every row. You don't have to chain 1, you can do whatever you'd like. And as you can see right here, I have 2 single crochets, and then I start my L. So I'm going to insert my hook and do that first single crochet in that first stitch. And for my second single crochet, I'm going to insert my hook, I'm going to yarn over, and I'm going to pull through. And since the next stitch is going to be our lettering color, I'm going to pick up my pink. I'm going to hold my pink with my other hand, I find that's the easiest. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through with pink because our next stitch is going to be pink. And we have 1 pink stitch, and it goes back to 3 single crochet white stitches. So since the next stitch is pink and I have pink on my hook, I'm going to insert my hook into the next stitch, yarn over with pink, and pull through, but my next stitch is white. This one right there is white. So I'm going to drop my pink, I'm going to pick up my white. I kind of like to pull it just to make it tight. I don't pull it too hard, I just make sure it's not loose. I'm going to yarn over with my white, I'm going to pull through with my white. And look at that, it leaves us with a pink stitch. Now as you can see, my next 1, 2, 3 stitches are going to be white. So I'm going to do 3 of those. So 1 single crochet white stitch, 2 single crochet white stitches, and then the third one I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, but since my next one right here, the top of that eye is pink, I'm going to drop my white, pick up my pink, yarn over and pull through, finish that stitch of white because the next one is pink. Since we go back from pink back to white, I'm going to do the pink one first. I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, and since my next one is white, I'm letting go of my pink, yarn over, pull through with my white, and then I'm going to do 1 white stitch, we're going to do another pink stitch. So insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, drop my white, pick up my pink, yarn over, pull through, just like that. And as you can see, right there, we're on this stitch next, and that's going to be pink, obviously. Insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, and my next stitch is white because it's right in between that V. I'm going to drop my pink, pick up my white, yarn over, pull through, start my next stitch, insert my hook, yarn over, pull through, but I'm not going to finish that stitch because that next one right here, right here is pink. So I'm going to drop that stitch, yarn over, pull through with pink, and then I'm going to do that pink stitch that I just pointed out, yarn over, pull through, but I'm not going to finish that pink stitch because we have a white stitch. So I'm going to yarn over, pull through in white, then I'm going to do that white stitch. And since the next 3, 1, 2, 3 single crochets are pink, I'm going to switch back to pink. And I'm going to do 3 single crochets in pink. 1, 2, and then obviously with the third one, I'm going to yarn over, pull through, because the next stitch is white. Because the next stitch is white there, I'm going to drop my pink, pick up my white, and then continue doing white stitches until the very end. This is what that looks like. Oh wow, look at that, lines up so nicely. I know it's like kind of confusing because you have to keep in mind the color of the next stitch, but you will get used to it, I promise. And now I'm just finishing the rest of these white stitches along here. You're essentially looking at the graph and you're following each square as if it's a single crochet stitch. And that's the exact same as tapestry crochet. Anyways, when I get to the end of a lettering row, I get my scissors and I snip off both yarns because I like to start at the front again. I don't like flipping it around because I find it's not as clean. So I'm done that first row of lettering. I'm gonna cross that out. Time for the second row here, second row of lettering. I pick up my piece and I insert my hook into that, oh, there's a hair, sorry. Insert my hook into that first stitch. I grab my white yarn over and I pull through, and I chain one, and then I place a single crochet in that stitch that I just chained out of. And that is my first single crochet, so that counts as my first white stitch there. And then I'm doing one more white stitch, and then now I'm doing a pink stitch. So I didn't pull through there because I'm switching to pink. Pull through with pink. I'm going to do a pink stitch, but I'm not going to pull through because my next stitch is white. And I am just following across again, very similar, literally exactly as the last row. The pattern's very similar to the last row, so at least it's easy to follow. So I'm switching back to pink so I don't finish that last stitch of white, switch back to pink. I don't finish that pink stitch because I'm switching back to white. And yeah, it's a little confusing at first, but you get pretty used to it. You just have to remember that if your next stitch is a different color, you have to finish the stitch before with your other color. So now when I get to the E, I only have one pink stitch right there. So I'm going to place that one pink stitch and switch back to white, and I'm going to finish off the row in white. The very first row that we did is always the most difficult. The second row is always so much easier, and it gets easier and easier with each row when you start a different word, just because it's like really confusing and you're starting from nothing and have nothing to really follow. So now I'm finished that second row. What is it? Let me line that up. There we go. Looking good, and I'm gonna snip my yarn off. And I'm going to cross this off to help me out. And I'm going to start my third row. So again, I'm inserting my hook in that first single crochet, pulling the yarn through, chaining one, and single crocheting in that first stitch. And because I'm doing 2 single crochets, I'm going to do 2 white, and then I'm switching to pink for the next one, so I'm finishing that stitch with pink. Oh yeah, this is what the back looks like. I like to tie my ends together. I don't really care that there's like, you know, ongoing pieces. I don't really care what the back looks like because I'm not going to look at the back. But you can obviously crochet over your tails, which is a little more difficult. But since I have like no reason to show the back of the piece, I just kind of leave everything dangling. And I'm finishing up the middle of that E, and I'm going to switch back. Sorry, it's all over the place. It's kind of hard to crochet with the camera. There, I think you can kind of see. So that's where we are. That's the third row. Well, the third row of lettering. So I'm going to cross that third row out. For the fourth row, I'm following what I have planned here. Very similar. So I'm going to cross that fourth row out, and I'm going to start the fifth one. The fifth one is my favorite because it just kind of wraps everything up. Now we got to just put the bottoms on the L, connect the V, and put a bottom on an E. Again, I'm just following block by block, single crochet by single crochet, how it looks. So I'm going to start the row how I usually do, pull through, chain one, single crochet in that first single crochet. I'm going to do 2 single crochets. And then when I start my pink, doing the same thing, yarn over, pull through, and because I have that bottom of that L, that is 3 pink single crochets. So exciting. 2, 3, and then I switch back to white, do 1 white, switch back to pink to finish that I, and look, there's an L. Switch back to white because that's what my pattern says, and then to finish that V I do 2 single crochets, then I put 1 pink one right in the middle, and that connects our V next to our white. Oop. And then we're finishing off that E, so the next 3 are pink. I'm switching back to white because the rest is white single crochets. That is what it looks like. Look, it says live. And I just chopped my pink off because I won't need my pink right now, and I don't chop my white off at the end of my 5th row. I got that stuck. So I'm just gonna cross off my 5th row, and then the next row we're doing is just this blank single crochets to separate the words. And I just flip my piece over and I single crochet white all the way down here. I start with a chain 1 at the end of the row, and I just single crochet. I don't find a point in chopping it off and restarting at the start, especially if you're doing just a white single crochet. I find it's just like, you know, it's a little pointless. Going back this way is just like a nice break. I don't really mind that the stitches are, I guess, backwards per se, but I think it just rounds everything off nicely. And it's a lot easier, and there's less ends. And I'm putting that last single crochet. Whoop. And that's what the back looks like. A little hairy, that's okay. And I flip it around, and look how magical that is. Look how beautiful. It says live. And that is how you crochet a word. I just like to do the 2 single crochet rows between, and then there's the 5 single crochet rows here. As you can see, there's like, you can kind of see the pink through the white. I find it's less obvious with wool, but it's really not that obvious. It's very legible. And it's time to start laugh, and I'm going to do it the exact same I did live. I'm going to follow basically stitch by stitch. So I'm going to repeat pretty much the exact same thing I did for live, but for 2 more different words. And the possibilities are endless. All you really need to do is graph it out and copy stitch by stitch. So I'm finished my little tapestry. Oh, it's upside down. She says live, laugh, crochet. I'm gonna put this on my wall. As for the back, bunch of loose ends. I just tie them together to keep them out of the way. I don't like weaving stuff in. If you're not gonna see it, I don't really see a point to weaving it in. I'm actually gonna slide this dowel onto every other stitch, like so. So it's easier to hang on the wall. Here's my little tapestry. I just added a little string. It needs to be like steamed. She's looking a little wiggly, but that's okay. Usually I like to wash and block it, but I'm at my studio right now, so I'll probably have to do that at home. Anyways, this is what the back looks like. I just knot everything, not very tight, very loosely, so it's not in the way, and I chop it all off. That's what it looks like. And then this can go on the wall somewhere. Let me just... There we go, live, laugh, crochet. Oh, why is she lopsided? She's in desperate need for steam, but that's okay. It's the thought that counts. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you make something with this alphabet, I would love to see it, so you can email me or tag me in something. I don't get all my notifications for social media, so if you want me to see it for sure, definitely send me an email if you have any questions. Also send me an email, I'm here to help. That being said, I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Live, laugh, crochet.